This is the Digital Savage Experience Podcast, hosted by Prokopchuk, bringing you all things digital marketing, tech, business, and motivation. What's stopping you from becoming relentless in all aspects of life? Are you ready to become a digital savage? Let's get into today's episode.
Hey everyone, this is Prokopchuk, and this is the Digital Savage Experience Podcast. Today I have with me John Vuong. John is the owner of local SEO Search. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Roman, for having me.
My pleasure. So tell me a little bit about your journey. How did you get to where you are today? Some of the stuff you had to overcome.
Definitely. So great question. I started this company in 2013, but prior to that, I have always been more of an entrepreneur, I would say, always trying to do some side hustles. I started, my background is actually in business finance. So I studied that in university. I got my first job as a advertising sales rep. So I've always been in the ad space, marketing, advertising space. For 10 years before I started this company. So I worked in affiliate online marketing, and probably my longest stint was at the Yellow Pages group, which is, phone directory in printed format and also in digital. So I learned a lot about how to run, manage, and deal with customers on a long-term basis. So working there for 5 years, I was able to really understand the marketplace in terms of local presence, local business owners. And I found and gravitated towards really wanting to help local business owners succeed in their local market, right? And during the last couple of years at Yellow Pages, I was selling AdWords. I was doing a lot of Google AdWords spend, and I noticed a big trend where a lot of people who were buying ads from Yellow Pages with the intent of being on Google on ads, the return wasn't as good as they used to be in printed format. So then I gravitated towards learning self-taught about the optimization space, which is the organic section of search engine results. And that's where I started this company. I focused on really helping local businesses in Canada, where they deal and service business owners in their local proximity. Some are dentists, some are lawyers, service-based companies, and really dominate their local market, become that authoritative figure and expert in their domain. And that's how I started, and that's how I continue to grow and really make an impact on these local business owners. Because the big thing is, ultimately in terms of business, it's all about relationships. And that's what I learned while working at Yellow Pages, meeting every single customer, getting to know them, tell their story, ask questions, and really become more of a partner to them, and really make sure that they understand you're in it for the long term, and you're in it for all the good reasons and not just for the monetary reasons. So being in the industry for over 7 years now, I've grown, I've learned, I've made tons of mistakes, but I continually love this space because I'm able to work with great business owners, very optimistic entrepreneurs, and they're really just your average person, right? Getting to know real people on a local level that's looking to make an impact in the local community. So that's what I've gotten to learn over the last couple of years, and I continue enjoying this process.
Yeah, I think that relationship building component is important, and obviously being kind of in digital marketing, so you're doing something where you're physically generating business for a business, and that could be obviously the lifeline of that business in terms of surviving or growing. So there's kind of that added effect where you're kind of the partner or a part of that business, and if they succeed, you succeed.
Exactly. And what I've learned, even while working at Yellow Pages, is they were in business for 100 years, right? And how did they keep afloat? How did they compete with all the other media giants, from newspapers to flyers to radio, television, etc.? Well, Google kind of replaced Yellow Pages, print and digital, because it was the first place people think of when they're looking for a business, right? And basically when people are searching, it's more inbound, someone that's actively looking versus outbound where you're pushing ads at people. So being in SEO and digital marketing, it's a very unique space where people who are actively looking, which is further down that buying cycle, buyer journey, their actually intent is so far along that buying journey that you're not trying to convince someone to buy your product or service. So that's what I love about this whole industry of search engine optimization.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you also mentioned that obviously you're self-taught. I think it's important to have that kind of perspective or learnings within digital marketing because you're kind of in the trenches and you know how things work and you're more hands-on. Because I think in digital and other types of marketing, you have kind of practitioners and generalists. So generalists may take a course and then kind of regurgitate that course or create another course built on that, but they haven't had that kind of real world experience. I personally have spoken at universities and things like that to digital marketing classes. And I think a lot of kids coming out of school with digital marketing degrees feel like kind of they're going to land their dream job or don't necessarily think that the climate is changing as much as it is. So I think formal education in terms of the digital space is hard because you constantly have to change the curriculum because things are changing oftentimes daily, weekly, monthly basis in terms of some, digital marketing disciplines. And I think it's important to have that kind of real world experience over that, book knowledge.
I totally agree. And I think the big thing is life experience, work experience, and business experience, dealing with real customers, real life situations, competitive analysis, local market analysis, and actually having access, doing some A/B testing and figuring out what to do, right? Experience means everything in this industry versus someone that claims the world. Right? Where if you have a solid track record and you have references to back it, case studies, people that actually can vouch for you, that makes a ton of a difference versus someone that claims the world, that can market themselves, but actually isn't doing it themselves.
Yeah, it's results driven and you have those kind of examples of things you've done in the past. You have testimonials, you have colleagues you worked for or with that know, what you know and what you've delivered for clients. I think that's, like you said, more important. So what motivates you to succeed?
So this is a very good question as well. I think the big thing for me is I'm very self-driven, right? I'm very competitive, always been. I was very into sports and I've been in sales, right, all my life. So for me, I always wanted to succeed as one of the best, trying different things, figuring out from the best, learning, constantly trying to improve, right? So my motivation is self-motivation, and I always want to do better, right? And ultimately give and provide more for the ones that I love, my family, my friends, my community, my tribe, right? So that's what really motivates me, really making an impact where I can say I gave it all, right? Like, I don't want to do something where I'm just average. I want to really do it. If I'm serious, I want to really do it and say, I really gave it all, right? That's what motivates me today, right? It's just my desire to not just win, but always contribute and do the best I can and impact others.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you oftentimes have one opportunity to do something. So doing it to the best of your abilities and kind of setting yourself up, because all you have is kind of results in life and also kind of in the digital field. So if you kind of half-ass something to begin with, you build that reputation and you may not get the results or the clients that you're looking to get in the future.
Yeah, and especially with the digital age, right? Reputation is everything. And if you have some bad, even if you start off doing bad work, it's gonna catch up to you, right? You can't hide things like, traditional businesses used to just hide not having a website or whatnot, right? Like now everything is amplified through social, through other third-party reviews and testimonials. Like you cannot hide the same way that you used to be hiding, right? So be transparent. Let people know like you're always constantly learning, and yes, you make mistakes, but it's okay. As long as you acknowledge it and try to do better and do good and make the most of it, people will accept you for that, and they will know, like, as a business or a person in general, like, it's okay to acknowledge that as long as you're giving it your all. That's all people care about, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it obviously takes a lot longer to build a reputation than, it may take a second to destroy it. And, you'll never hide anything in terms of digital perspective. You may push it down in terms of, search engine results page, or have a effort where you somehow, dominate the first page, second page, maybe third page. But if somebody keeps scrolling and going to the next page, it doesn't make it disappear. It's still there, and it still can be found one way or another. So what's one thing you may have seen as a weakness in yourself in the past that you've turned around and utilized as a strength today?
Yeah, so when early on in my day, starting this company, I was very much working 16, 18-hour days. And I was very, like, I had my staff, I had my team, but I didn't give them, like, they were really, I was checking everything, right? Like, until I got to a point where I was comfortable enough to delegate properly and give ownership to them, I was really hands-on and doing everything myself and doubting everyone else's work, right? So until I got to a point where I was putting a lot of stress on myself, I was not sleeping well, I wasn't eating well, I was, just as a business owner, I was scared, right? Of giving up ownership to people that I didn't really trust at that point yet, right? Until you get to know your staff and you get to know your tribe, right? So early on, that was probably my weakness, where I should have let people make mistakes early, just like business owners accepting that I was going to make mistakes. So the sooner you're able to let go and delegate accordingly and become more of a management kind of, colleague or peer, and let people learn and make their own mistakes, the better off you are, so that you can live your own life as well and not constantly worry. Hopefully that makes sense, right?
No, it does. And I mean, it's a common theme that is explored on the show that, when a, founder, business owner made that kind of leap where they delegated more or sent things to be automated or got things off their plate and wasn't as hands-on and started trusting their team, that's when they started scaling more. Because if you put all the weight on your shoulders and are responsible for everything, eventually you will burn out. So you have to find, obviously, the right team around you and then develop trust in that team. And obviously they demonstrate that by the work that they produce. And then you can truly kind of scale your business.
Exactly. And I'm not too concerned about the scaling piece. I think I'm all about evolution of people, training them, getting them to learn things that you learn, right, over the years, and letting them make mistakes. So I'm all about trying to, educate your own team and staff to become better as a person, as a parent, as a employee or manager or whatever it is, right? Because in life, if you're able to set people up so they have their own goals and things that they can strive for a better life for themselves and family, at least you're doing what you're meant to do, right? Which is try to make an impact to all the people that are in your life, from employees to clients to community to your tribe or whatever it may be. If you're able to slowly educate and give more responsibility to your team, then they are going to learn as well. And then hopefully that results to when they're ready to train the, new people coming in, they feel like that's exactly the same journey they went through, right? So it becomes a cycle.
Yeah, I agree. So what motivates you to succeed? I think you mentioned that as well. And in that, what are some of the advices you can give to the audience from kind of that motivation?
Yeah, motivating to succeed is, I just self-motivate myself, right? Like I just feel like I have one life. I will try to do my best. I came from, I came from Vietnam. My parents didn't have anything. They left the war, and we didn't have anything growing up, right? Like we were the type that lived off food bank. Like we were there every week getting food. We didn't have much clothes. We went to, Salvation Army or Amity or whatever it may be, just to survive, right? And over those years, I came to appreciate what my parents have done, right? So my motivation is really, I have way more than I need right now. So how can I help others that are in need? That's what I'm all about now, right? Like make an impact. Let's help people that really do need it, right? And how can I do that with my company, with my clients, so that they can make an impact to their community as well. So it's like a ripple effect.
Yeah, I agree. And I think coming from those backgrounds, I think there's a lot of company founders, different companies, like bigger companies, also unicorn companies, if you will, Google, Uber, where they're the kids of first generation immigrants and they're coming from situations that were tough and growing up in situations here, either, lower class, poverty, struggling to kind of survive in terms of family and what they have. And I think it prepares you for some of the things that you're obviously going to deal with in life. And I think makes you a little bit stronger also when it comes to business and when time get tough and certain business challenges.
Yeah, like the environment that we're living in today, for instance, it's based on necessities, right? So do people want to focus more on business, or do they want to just look at survival, right? So things that you really understand because you were going through that in your life, right? So then you can actually relate to people in the same situation that you actually had to overcome. So making a difference, understanding, and that's where, you can make a difference if you're a business owner, right? Like people want real life examples, just like experience. This is real life experience.
Yeah, I agree. So I really appreciate you stopping by today. Can you let the audience know how they can find you?
Yeah, definitely. So my name's John Vuong. You can check out our website. It's local SEO search.ca or .com. And we also have our own podcast called Local SEO Today. So we're here to help. We want to make an impact. We want to help business owners who are looking to really just learn about how to be better people as entrepreneurs, how to make an impact, right? So that's what we do. But I'd love to, hear from anyone that would like to learn a little bit more about myself, my company, or how to be better as people.
Awesome. Thanks again for stopping by.
Thanks a lot, Roman, for having me.
Hey, this is Roman Prokopchuk of the Digital Savage Experience podcast. Like this show and want to make your own? Let me tell you about Anchor. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Now you can even add any song from Spotify directly to episodes. The possibilities are endless for what you can create, whether it's music analysis, your own radio show, or something the world's never heard before. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
This podcast has been brought to you by Nova Zora Digital. Find out how Nova Zora Digital can help your company grow online. Learn more at novazoradigital.com. Until next time, all you digital savages.